Hello guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be an episode on the largest storm of the season and for actually several seasons for Chicago. This snowstorm is going to leave about foot of snow or plus for areas like Chicago, the Rockford, possibly inside Indiana, northern parts of Indiana, Michigan, and maybe Detroit. And this is just gonna clobber Chicago where I live. So this is very exciting, and I'll get right into it. So you can see there's a lot. This is the system that passes. Now there's a high in the Midwest. This high gets absolutely shoved out of the way, and this system, this low, brings a lot of moisture from the Pacific and puts this band of snow right across much of Iowa, Minnesota, and then that intensifies, and a lot of convergence of two winds from the north and from the south will create lift in the atmosphere, and that pretty much induces snow crystallization to form. So that will induce a lot of heavy snow. And you could see that does happen. The GFS is a little bit underplaying it. And then there's another chance Chicago's going to be right on the border of that. So we'll need to see how that plays out. And that is a storm. It may not look like a lot, but when we go to the snowfall totals, to the GFS, this is how much they put out. 11 inches for Chicago. You could see wherever you live. 11, pick out your places. You could see the individual counties. Northern Indiana, probably according to the GFS, would get the brunt, and that would be anywhere from 14 to 15 inches. Central Illinois, 16, 15. But that is one. That's not what the National Weather Service is thinking. National Weather Service is closer to the Canadian model. Let me show you how the Canadian model plays out on the radar. Actually, yeah, let's go over here. This is the Canadian model, and the Canadian model is much more aggressive with snowfall totals. So bear in mind, the GFS is the least aggressive and the most conservative, and it already shows a foot of snow. So that just goes to show you that there's going to be quite a bit of snow. Same setup with the Canadian model, except the snow is going to be much heavier and it's going to lag along for a longer time. And also the snow from the south the second day is going to reach us. So that in the total is going to produce around 18-ish inches for Chicago, which I do think is a little bit too much. I think will be somewhere in the 12 inches to 15-inch range, which is still absolutely insane. But we will just need to wait and see how that plays out. And you could see anywhere from Des Moines or a little bit northwest of Des Moines all the way to a little bit northwest of Detroit. So a large swath of 12 inches and above. Now let's go to the NAM model. The NAM model is also very aggressive and probably the most aggressive, as it usually is with these snowfall amounts. But it usually isn't correct with exactly the exact amount. Usually it's a little bit overplaying it, but still it gives you a really good estimate and it always catches the latest data and puts it out front. So if there's a change in the track, a big change, then NAM always puts it out first. So you can see, same thing, very heavy snowfall starts right away, and it's going to be quite a narrow band. There's going to be some light snow here in upper Wisconsin, central Wisconsin, but the heaviest is going to be right across the southern tip of this band, and that's where Chicago is going to lie, and that's going to rotate and produce quite a bit of snow. And this is the second wave that we're concerned about, because it could also be quite a hefty band, but we don't know where that's going to set up. You can see Chicago is pretty much right where that snowfall line is. So this is very interesting to watch, and I'll show you how much the NAM puts out. NAM puts out around 17 inches. So also very aggressive, but a little bit more narrow area of accumulating snow rather than the Canadian. Canadian looked something more like this. So you can see that snowfall totals taper off very quickly as you go to the north or to the south, especially to the south. You could see Chicago, and then outskirts of Chicago, 1 inch. So this is going to be very close, because this band could shift several hundred miles, and then Chicago is going to get completely missed. But this is getting closer and closer to the event, so most likely it will not switch. Now let's go to the high-res NAM, which shows the individual banding going on, and that shows you a lot of pretty much the most accurate out of the most of the models. You could see same situation coming from the west, and you could see just a lot of heavy snow. Those darker blue colors indicating quite a bit of snow. This is going to be a pretty long event, 24 hours to around 30 hours of snow for Chicago, and anywhere that is going to be in the 12 inches above range. And that's how far out the NAM 3KM goes, only 60 hours. It doesn't catch that second wave. And I didn't put it up on here, the snowfall amounts from NAM 3KM, but I could definitely do that. And I don't think the NAM 3KM is as high as the NAM, but I may be mistaken. Okay, yeah, I knew it. So it's a little bit narrower, but still, look at that, 15, 16 inches. I would be happy, to be totally guys honest with you. I'd be happy with 8 inches or 7. And they're putting out all these snowfall amounts that is just ridiculous. We already have 6, 7 inches of snow on the ground, so that's amazing. We had snowfall yesterday, 2 days ago, and during over the weekend. So it's a really nice time right now for snow lovers in northern Illinois and around the Midwest. So you can see a lot of people are going to be getting at least an inch or above, especially Chicago's just going to get the brunt of this. So I'm really happy you're finally getting the brunt of the storm. It hasn't happened in a long time. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe out there. As always, see you guys on the next episode.